Prayer changes everything. And we often hear people say that prayer can actually change their lives. But how? Why can simply talking to God change something in yourself, relieve stress, or even heal you? Let's figure out how it works and why prayer is so important from both a spiritual and scientific point of view. So, what is prayer? Prayer is not just words. It is communication with God, a sincere conversation in which we open our hearts to Him. But how does it work? How can talking to an invisible God change our lives? When you pray, you are not just saying words. You are actually speaking to your soul at that moment. It's time to let go, focus, and trust God. There is something magical in this process. Prayer helps us focus and let go of all those things that bother us. You know how it is when we start praying and suddenly feel like all those worries are going away? It's as if we just opened our souls and God filled them with peace. Scientific research shows that prayer reduces stress levels and helps us feel calmer. More importantly, it can change our inner feelings and even our physical health. Praying to God is not just something for religious people. It's something that actually affects our body and our brain. Research shows that when we pray, our bodies respond as if we were relaxing. Stress levels drop, blood pressure goes down, and anxiety goes away. This has been proven in scientific experiments. Think prayer is just a matter of faith? In fact, it's also a matter of psychology and physiology. Our brains begin to function differently when we take the time to just stop and talk to God. In response to prayer, we activate areas of the brain responsible for peace and calm. It's not just a feeling, it's a real physical effect on our bodies. In one such study, scientists noticed that those who pray or meditate on spiritual things, the Bible and scriptures have lower stress levels and feel better in general. They have stronger immunity and better health. Prayer is a kind of key that opens the door to a world of peace. God did not just create us so that we could communicate with Him, but He also created us so that we could find peace and strength for life in this communication. But why is prayer so important for our soul? Let's talk now about how prayer changes us on a deep spiritual level. In the Bible, in the Epistle of James, it says, "The prayer of a righteous man has great power." But what does this mean? Why is prayer so powerful? Because when we pray, we turn to God Himself. It is not just a form of religious action. It is a way to connect with our Creator, to know Him better, to open up to Him. And every time we pray, we give God the opportunity to influence our lives. It is not just a request for something. It is a moment when we say, "Lord, I trust you." And it is through this trust that changes occur. Jesus Christ in the Gospel of Matthew says, "Ask, and it will be given to you." And so it happens. Prayer is not only about requests, but also about knowing God. In the process of communicating with Him, we not only receive help in difficult moments, but also understand how to live better. This helps us change, discover new paths, a new understanding of life and ourselves. Prayer opens up new horizons for us. It helps us see opportunities instead of obstacles. How does this happen? When we pray, we often begin to hear the voice of God, which guides us and gives us strength to move forward, even if it seems that nothing will work out. Prayer changes not only the inner state, but also the practical side of our lives. There are many examples of how prayer helped people overcome difficulties. I know people who have survived serious illnesses, losses, and depressions through prayer. And it was prayer that helped them come out of these difficult situations with a new outlook on life. One such example is a man who had experienced great disappointment in life. He was on the verge of despair, but he decided to start praying every day. And do you know what happened? His attitude toward life changed dramatically and quickly. Not only did he receive strength to endure all his trials, but his heart became more open to love and forgiveness. This is an incredible transformation that occurs in a person's heart when he begins to pray and opens himself to the work of God's power in his life. Prayer also plays a huge role in physical healing. Remember how Jesus healed people through faith and prayer. It was not just a miracle, but an act of God in the lives of those who believed. When we pray, we do not just forgive. We do not just ask for something. We open our hearts for God's power to enter our lives and heal them. Prayer is both the key and the door to the world of healing. The Gospel of John says, "I am your healing." And prayer is the way we can receive this healing, both physical and spiritual. Prayer changes lives because it allows us to enter into real contact with God. It is not just a way to ask for something. It is an opportunity to open up to God, accept His help, and allow His power to change us. Prayer gives us not only peace and quiet, but also the strength to move forward despite the difficulties. When we pray, we open our soul and body to God's action. We trust Him with our experiences, our worries, and ask for help. And, as it is said in the Gospel of Matthew, "Ask, and it will be given to you." Prayer changes us. It makes us stronger, calmer, gives us the strength to move forward, and opens our hearts for God to act in our lives. Pray sincerely, and you will see how God will help you in your life.